officially like a quarter of the way through 2026 already, which is insane. The year I definitely wanted to do like everything I made in 2026, but I thought I would do like a quarterly check-in as well, see what I've made, and I got the idea to do this because I was pretty pleased with the amount of stuff I've managed to make so far this year. I don't normally make this much in a year already, so that's really cool. I feel like there's a couple of reasons for that. One is probably I've taken on some smaller projects, because historically I knit a lot of bigger projects like jumpers. I've took on a couple of smaller projects like gloves, a hood, I was gonna say a hat, but it's a hood, and a pair of socks, stuff like that, like smaller projects in between. And I think that is a game changer. I think it does something for like the dopamine in my brain, like being able to be like, I checked something off and I finished it, because in the past when I've been knitting jumpers, I love making them, obviously, that's why I keep doing it. When they take me like 10, 12 plus weeks, somewhere along the line, definitely whilst making a jumper, I will like drop off for a couple weeks because I'm just like, I guess kind of bored of what I'm doing. And also I've been like a one project at a time kind of person. This year I've been like casting on more projects at the same time or before I've finished another one. So that if I'm getting a little bored of one, I can jump in and work on another one. Yeah, and turns out that is like a really good way for me to produce more work, because I'm not getting bored of knitting, I'm just getting bored of the same colour or the same pattern or something like that. So that's been really good, and I think that's helped me massively get through projects. Also, the second jumper that I finished this year was like the quickest I've ever knit a jumper. I think I worked out it was like on my needles for like 33 days, and I definitely took like 10 days off. Like I didn't touch it for like 10 days with the second sleeve because I just couldn't be bothered. I could have finished it even quicker, but 33 days is insane for me. That's really fast. It was like just a little over a month for a whole jumper. And I think partly that was because of the yarn I was using. I knit most of it on 5mm needles, and the yarn itself was very rustic. Why? But working with rustic yarn, I just seem to get through the projects quicker. If that's something you can relate to, but do let me know if there's like some yarns that you use that you find you get through projects quicker with, because I definitely found that with rustic fibres, because I found that with the socks I was working on as well. At the end of last year. Yeah, I think that jumper knit up partly because of the yarn I was using, partly the needle size, and also because I had finished off like so many little projects before it. I guess I kind of had in my head like I can finish stuff, so it kept me really motivated. Just wanted to show you everything that I've knit so far in 2026, and I'll probably go through it in order. So the first one is this. A lace loops sweater by Other Loops. I'll link like all of the patterns and places that I bought yarn and needles that I used in the description below. I won't talk crazy long about this one because I have included it in some of my other videos. I started this at the end of the year, so I didn't knit this year fully, but I did finish it this year at the start of January. I love this, it's so soft, I wear it quite a lot. Still haven't weaved in all of the ends, but doesn't matter. So this was the first sweater that I officially finished in 2026, and I love it. Second thing that I finished this year is this. This is the Harris hood. Knit and finished this in 2026. I can't remember the yarn off the top of my head, so I'll have to look it up because I got it from a charity shop. It is 100% wool though, and it knit up really quick. This is definitely something you can do in like 1 to 2 days, maybe 3 days if you're a little bit more of a slower knitter. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself the fastest knitter in the world, and it only took me like a weekend. I think this would look really nice in like a cream or a brown, like a more neutral colour, but I did say at the start of this year I wanted to work with more colours. But yeah, this is really cool, and it's a really nice like gift knit because it's so quick and easy. And I think it took me exactly like 1 ball of yarn to use, which I'm pretty sure was like 100 grams. Then I knit these, and I'm so proud of these. The first socks that I've ever knit like a pair of. I did knit 1 sock at the end of last year, and I still need to finish the other one. I still haven't done that. I'll show you them. These are the contrast heel socks, and I knit them primarily with West Yorkshire Spinners yarn in Mallard. I love a self-striping yarn because it keeps me really interested when I'm just like going in around, especially when using such tiny needles like you do with making most socks. And then for the cuffs and the heels and the toe, I used a yarn from Hobbycraft. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was like a hank of yarn. I'm pretty sure it's merino. It is a different weight to the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn that I've used for the rest of the sock, but I think it's quite nice. It makes like the most worn parts of the sock quite durable because it's a little bit thicker. I really liked the pattern as well. It's a top-down pattern. I don't knit a lot of socks, like these are my first and only pair of socks I've ever knit. I did see a lot of comments, people saying that they prefer like toe up patterns. I don't really know why, because I haven't knit one myself. But it is top down. I found it super easy to follow. As someone who has like not really knit socks before, I knit like one sock from a sock kit. I found it super easy and they fit perfectly. And I think this project gave me a lot of confidence in terms of like branching out a bit more with construction. I did branch out a little bit more last year, just raglan jumpers, and tried a couple of different constructions, and I did like a zipper, quarter zip by Petite Knit. But this year I really did want to like branch out my understanding of knitwear and design based on like different constructions. So these gave me a lot of confidence because when I started them out I was like, I don't even know if they're gonna fit. I was kind of following pretty blindly and trusting my maths, which is not my strong point at all. I'm terrible at maths. I hated it at school, and it's quite funny to me because after leaving school and getting into like knitting and stuff like that, it's insane how much I do use maths. When I was in school, I just thought I couldn't do it. Yeah, gave me a lot of confidence with moving forward with my knitwear. Next I knit 2 sets using some yarn that I got whilst I was in Norway. It's the Groove Warmers pattern by Mini Groove Studios or KBs. The pattern is designed to have really cool striping that obviously aren't in this. I just wanted to use this tweed yarn that I picked up in Norway, and I had a black version and a sandy version, so I wanted to make like a his and hers kind of thing. I gave the black pair to my partner and I've kept the sandy pair for myself. Pretty sure I knit both of these all with 4mm needles. I don't think I changed anything for the ribbing or anything like that. The yarn I was using I think was quite heavy, would have recommended like a larger needle size anyway, so I was fine to get away with that. These knit up so fast. Like the longest bit was definitely the wrist ribbing. I don't know why ribbing just takes me so long, but that took like half of the project to be honest, and the rest just knits up really quick. So again, another really good gift knit because I think I could knit up a pair in like 1 to 2 days. Yarn is so soft as well, not scratchy at all. I would love to make a jumper with this yarn. Also, very quickly before I move on to the last thing that I made, this isn't a finished object, but I finished one of the pair, so I'm going to include it. Kind of like my first self-drafted thing through some like moving boxes, and I found this yarn, which honestly it was just packaged like this, so I have no idea what brand it is. It's a blown yarn though, and I'm thinking it's alpaca. It's like the tiniest bit scratchy, but not really, and I only had this quantity, so I didn't really know what to do with it, and I decided to make another pair of gloves, and I wanted to do some kind of like colour work with it because I've got the two and I think they go really nice together. I have this book, which again I'll link in the description below, but I'm pretty sure I got it from Waterstones. I got both of the patterns from inside that book. It is very inspired by the Frey sweater. I still want to make that. I want to make it in brown and yellow. I think that was in one of my other videos talking about projects that I want to work on this year. I thought this was like a quick way for me to have a go at that pattern. It's not from them, it's from this book. It's very similar looking leaf motif. And then the last thing I made is my actual pride and joy at the moment. I'm really happy with this and the way it turned out. I loved the pattern, I loved the yarn that I used. I'll be wearing this probably all winter. This is my Lakes pullover by Izetta, and I love this sweater so much. So I knit it with Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. It is very rustic. I would consider myself as someone who is quite sensitive and has quite sensitive skin in general. Like if I change my face wash, I'll know about it. But I find it pretty comfortable. Like I can wear it with a t-shirt on underneath and it doesn't affect me or anything like that, but it is very rustic. So I think plenty of people would say it's really scratchy. It's okay for me. Love the colour of it. It's like a really perfect brown. I did want to knit with more colours this year, and I still do. I think I can forgive myself because my next project is very colourful, so that's exciting. But I love this sweater. I think a couple things that I really like about it is the durability of it. So in the past, I knit a lot with acrylic yarns or blown yarn, which I really love, but it's very like fragile feeling. This feels like kind of indestructible. I feel like I can get loads of wear out of this. I wouldn't be worried, for example, if my dog jumped all over me in this. I don't think it's gonna like damage it in any way, so that's really nice to be able to wear something handmade and it feel really well made as well. And I think that is massively down to the yarn type that I've used. I definitely want to use this yarn again for like cable knit patterns, just because I loved the way it felt knitting with this. I am someone who definitely prefers working with more rustic fibres though. I followed a lot of modifications by Made by Sydney on Ravelry. Her Instagram's Made by Sydney, and I'll link that in the description below, but I followed pretty much exactly her modifications because I also made a size small. I did an extra increase on the arms, and then towards the cuffs I did like a couple of quick decreases to get a subtle balloon. Nothing crazy. I will write my own Ravelry notes as well because I did make a couple of other little changes, particularly with the ribbing. One of my favourite things that was like a new skill that I learnt with this sweater was I did like a crochet slip stitch, I think it's called, around the neckline, and it's just really clean, and I will definitely use that again in the future. Only thing I didn't like about the pattern, and it's got nothing to do with the pattern and everything to do with me, fold over collar. I really don't like doing them. I find it really hard and stressful to like join them together when you folded them over along the original seam, I guess you'd call it. And I did contemplate like just knitting it to the height that I wanted it and then doing a couple rounds of like double knitting and just binding it off there. But I pushed forward and I did it, and I'm really glad that I did it because it does just make a much nicer fit and it feels a lot more like high quality. So yeah, if you're like me and you don't like a fold over collar, I feel like you could definitely make a nice collar not doing it. But I've definitely learned that with knitting, sometimes the best thing to do is just push through and do it because it will look good in the long run. So yeah, that is everything that I've knit so far in 2026. Project is the Betsy vest. I'm gonna knit that in, I think it's lemonade yellow from Drops Hair. It's the first time I'll be using Drops Hair, so I'm excited to use it because I've seen mixed reviews on it. Some people love it, some people hate it. So I'm excited to see what it's like because I do think it's really good value. That's the other thing quickly with this yarn. Really good value. I think I only used 2.5 skeins of what I bought and they were like £11 each, which is really good. But yeah, back to the Betsy vest. I'm excited to do that because with the springtime and the sun's coming out or the flowers are coming out, I really want to knit with some more colour. And obviously I have spent like the last month knitting with brown, sand and black, so it'll be really exciting to knit with something more vibrant. I'm gonna do the little cow design in brown and white. I do really like the black and white one. I was so tempted to just throw a black ball of yarn into the basket as well because I was like, then I can just decide on the spot, but then I did brown because I think brown and white cows are really cute. Black and white cows are really cute, but I really like brown and white cows, so that's what I'm gonna do on my vest. I'm obsessed with that poppy blue Knitting for Olive yarn, and I thought about knitting one of Petite Knit's vests with that, but a little bit more of an investment, so I want to make sure that I've definitely found the right project to use that yarn with. And then jumper wise, I'll probably take a little break from knitting jumpers for a little bit. I might knit one more like in my next quarter. I don't think I'm ready to do a cable knit yet because in the past I have started those and they're still there, just waiting to be carried on with, so I think that's quite like a commitment to do a cable knit. But I have been seeing a lot of like textured sweaters that I really like the look of, like the terracotta sweater I feel like is really interesting because it's like a mix of colourwork and texture but not cables, so I really like the look of that. Maybe something like that. Or I have seen some really cool like colourful jumpers that I'm quite inspired to knit. Other than that, I've been really enjoying seeing like people's spring projects that they're casting on and just like general spring knitting inspiration. So if you have any patterns that you really want to knit, or maybe you knit last year or you're in the process of knitting, let me know what they are because maybe I'll find another pattern that I want to start in spring, because I definitely have room, because I've only got like 1 or 2 like on my mind at the moment that I want to knit for sure. So yeah, I'm interested to see what everyone else is working on, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.